Okay, while we let Nick compose himself about Cam, CC, I will ask you first. Was last night's performance the real Cam Newton?
That should stick a pin in your eye. Should not be listening
that
to you.
was weird.
That's what I should
You're
do.
going to bring this to television.
Did you give him a betting suggestion?
I talked
Is that
him
what you
out
call
of,
it?
I talked Chris out of a double winner into a single big loser. That did happen. Chris called me. Hey, I like the Eagles and the over. CC, no.
So you know what I'm going to start doing?
What?
Stop calling.
Yeah, that's fair. So
Or you can ask me.
I talked him out of, you don't know what either of those terms mean.
But I would have said the Eagles were going to win.
I talked him
We've
out
been
of
on
it.
the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah, sorry about that, CC. I will pay you back with money I borrow from you. But go ahead, as you were.
Last night is a night that the people who have opposition to Cam Newton, they'll be like, yeah, I told you, this guy right here, he's inconsistent after 2 weeks in a row. But I'm willing to give Cam last night because, I mean, he was forced into some turnovers. I mean, when your right guard gets run over, and I don't know what got into Fletcher Cox last night, but my goodness, I mean, he was a monster on the field. So I believe this is not the typical Cam Newton that we're going to see. Ron Rivera, he told us that this is not going to be your normal training camp year for Cam. His reps were really, really down. And the Eagles' defense, you have to give them a lot of credit. Now, they were fortunate. The interception out of the running back's hands right into the defender, that's not going to happen. The miscommunication between the wide receiver, most interceptions, I would say half of them, are at least the wide receiver or the receiver's fault. But the quarterback gets all the blame of them. So at least 2 of those interceptions were the receiver's fault. Cam will continue to get better. Now, I don't know why he said this was like a playoff game that we hadn't faced before, because didn't they play New England?
New England ain't that good.
I mean, like, aren't they the Super Bowl champs?
Well, I will say this. For Cam's only playing the other team's defense, right? New England certainly doesn't. When he's on the field, that doesn't feel like he's playing a playoff team because their defense is so bad.
They got Tom Brady.
Right, but he's not going up against Tom Brady. This is the first playoff caliber defense, I think he was saying, that they've gone up against.
But
is
it's
that
the
fair?
whole. But
regardless.
Yeah, I just thought that maybe that right there was just a little naive. Now, knowing that they might have to see Philadelphia again, realizing that Philadelphia was a lot more physical than any team that they faced. Right. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
All right, let me start with Cam. So, CC's right that the first 2 picks were not Cam's fault. He has his right guard pushed into him, and that I don't even know if that was an interception. I thought it was a fumble that was caught in the air like that, but regardless, that one's not on him. He threw a perfect pass to Jonathan Stewart that could have gone for a first down that Stewart fumbled or tipped up in the air. But Cam threw an interception late that got waved off because of a very shaky pass interference call. He threw 2 other could have been interceptions late that would have been just his fault that were dropped. And then he did throw a killer interception that was caught on what he described as a miscommunication that he put on himself between he and Kelvin Benjamin. So while 2 interceptions weren't on him, there were a couple more that could have been on his record. What was frustrating to me as a fan of Cam Newton was his team didn't play well. Their running backs were as bad as you will ever see professional running backs be. I just want to give you the running back log on what they got on each carry. 1 yard, -3, 0, -6, 0, -2, -2, -2. That was their first 8 runs of the game. The long carry for running back was 1 yard. So the running backs aren't playing well. They have some bad turnover luck. The offensive line's not playing well. Despite that, Cam gets the ball, gets it to midfield twice, down 5 in the final 4 minutes of the game, and neither time can make the necessary plays. On the first of those 2 opportunities, threw the bad pick where he was trying to target Benjamin. On the second of the 2 opportunities, they have a 3rd and 1. Romo's begging them to run it. They take a deep shot. And then on 4th and 1, he misses an easy pass to Christian McCaffrey. And I heard CC's voice in my head watching this game. I was like, man, right now he is playing like a streak shooter. Right now he is playing like a guy that doesn't have his confidence, that's frustrated with the way the game has gone, and is not composing himself, because this could have been a game, Jenna, that the Panthers steal. One of these games you hate that I talk about where they weren't better than the other team, they should have lost, but you know what, they get the win. It was set up for that.
I have a question for you. So, and I'm not a big numbers person, but a number that stuck out to me and my producer, Ryan, we talked about earlier, was that we didn't talk about it earlier. I don't even know why I said that. Cam threw the ball 52 times in yesterday's game. We talked a lot coming into this season about which Cam we were going to see, the pocket passer or the guy that's going to rely on his instincts to go and run. Did they ask him to do too much last night? Or was that a result of what his running backs were doing?
Yeah, it was forced. Also, those attempts that Nick talked about, when you're running ball, especially on first down, and you get -1 yard, you get 2 yards, you're forced to throw the ball on second down. And Philadelphia kept scoring. So when you're pressed, and the coaches, you don't give the coaches any other options. Now, Cam is more capable at any other time in his career to throw the ball 40 times. Like, he's more than capable. In the pocket, I'm totally comfortable. But what I don't like is late in the game, what you start to see is his fundamentals break down. You see him start to rush the ball or muscle the football compared to stepping with his fundamentals, sticking to his target, flighting the ball where the guys can catch it. So those are the things that I've been critical about.
What happened on his final throw of the game? You did a demonstration for me off the air. The 4th and 1 throw to McCaffrey that he one-hopped to him when they could have continued the drive and a touchdown wins.
Cam has such an amazing arm and shoulder, but a lot of times he's very lazy with his feet. So he tries to force the ball with his shoulder, and the ball comes out hot. In a situation like McCaffrey, it's 4th down and short. You cannot flight a ball through the lineman low. He was running the in-breaking route towards the middle of the field. The receiver can't see the football because the ball passes through the helmets of the offensive players. So it becomes very hard. Most quarterbacks sit tall, keep their elbow up, and flight the ball over top so the ball can stay in their eyesight. When the ball is low like that, you see McCaffrey, he couldn't come up with it. But those are the fundamentals that you see the best in the game. Late in the game, their fundamentals are just like before the game.
Jenna, you asked, are they asking Cam do too much? Here was the deal last night. You know how many times they ran consecutive handoffs to a running back? They did that once the entire game because of what you're talking about. They gave it to a running back on first down. Then it's 2nd and 13. Now we're running it. They give it to the running back on first down. Now it's 2nd and 12. Now we got to throw it. This year, this shouldn't surprise people. Cam Newton has accounted for every single one of the Panthers' passing touchdowns. What is jarring for a team that appears to be a good football team, Cam Newton has accounted for every single one of the Panthers' rushing touchdowns. And the other part of this game that can't be forgotten, the Eagles had a lot of success running the ball late in the game. Luke Kuechly went out.
Yeah, that's the performance I'm worried about because they are a different football team.
Protocol,
yeah, and this will be his 3rd year in a row. Last year, he missed significant time. Also, the team kept him out of the last 3 games of the regular season as precautionary measures.
I want him to get another one.
To see him get hurt. Now, you're talking about one of the great players, former MVP of the NFL defensively.
But
they are a different team without him.
Good spirit for that team. They need him out.
Oh, no, he's a great player.
You heard it from the crowd when he just walked onto the field.
And this is a scary one, too. The last time Luke Kuechly got a concussion, prior to last night, he left the field sobbing. And it wasn't because, we saw Odell crying because he was in pain and he knew his season was over, or he knew it was likely over.
Well, with Odell, we don't really know.
Okay, fair enough. But the Kuechly thing, everything I read after that was that can be an auto response to a brain trauma. Is like you lose control of it was scary seeing him leave the field last time. Seeing him with another one, it's not a guy that, he's going to be the concussion protocol 10 days and come back next week necessarily. And he's the second most important player on that entire team.
You absolutely never want to see that. We're going to talk about the other side of this, the Eagles, who actually put together a great game last night. They're now 5-1, best record in the NFC. But coming up, is Tony Romo hinting at a comeback? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.